Today we're taking a look at two very close competitors in the multicolor 3D printing market. It is the Elegoo Centauri Carbon 2 versus Flashforge's AD5X. Now we will dive into a lot of the differences between these two machines in just a minute, but obviously right off the bat there are some pretty obvious ones. Now the AD5X, obviously you can see here, it is an open frame Core XY 3D printer. Both the left side, the right side, the front, and the top are all open, although it should be noted that at this time you can buy an enclosure kit from Flashforge to get this machine enclosed, and it ends up looking very similar to that of the Centauri Carbon 2. Moving on over to the Centauri Carbon 2, it is completely enclosed. We've got a trash can looking lid on the top. It's got a nice heavy glass door that shuts magnetically. It's also got a filter in the back of the machine if you want to print with some of those more toxic materials like ABS or ASA. You can take the top lid off if you want to have a little bit more space, if you're putting it on a rack or something like that. And these two machines end up looking pretty similar after that. Now the AD5X has a 220 by 220 millimeter build plate size, whereas the Centauri Carbon 2 has the more common 256 by 256 millimeter build plate size that you'll find on some of the Bambu machines. Now the screen on the AD5X is a touchscreen. It's all right. It's not my favorite thing in the world. It's not quite as responsive as I would like, but it does let you access most of the functions of the machine right from that screen. Moving over to the Centauri Carbon 2, it's got a much more responsive, a much brighter LED screen on there, which does have a few more things you can access on there. Not a whole lot. It's just set up a little bit nicer in my opinion. Now the IFS system on the AD5X, obviously very similar to the Canvas system, but there is a lack of RFID. But just looking at the sides of the machine, you can see how similar they are with how the spools are loaded up there. And obviously on the Elegoo, we've got RFID in their Canvas system. And these are both set up the same way, 1, 2, 3, and 4. These ones are numbered on the outside though, which is pretty helpful. The AD5X is driven by some steel rods, and the same size belts are on the AD5X and the Centauri Carbon 2, and we can see the same kind of setup with the steel rods there as well. The Centauri Carbon 2 also has an auxiliary parts cooling fan, whereas the AD5X does not. And the CC2 does feature a 1080p HD camera for monitoring your prints and recording time lapses. Something that does not come stock with the AD5X, although you can purchase one for about $35 and install that if you'd like. Both of the machines have a magnetic front cover, but the AD5X is a little bit easier to maintain because it's just got a pinned connection here. There is no wire that runs back and forth, so you can just take it off and have access to everything inside. Inside of the Centauri Carbon 2, we do have a wire, so we'll have to figure out a good way to keep this up and out of the way if we need to maintenance the nozzle or change the nozzle. Speaking of maintaining the nozzle, AD5X does have a quick swap nozzle, which is pretty easy to remove if you remember to unload the filament. I didn't want to use my fingers here because I just had that filament loaded into there, which is why this didn't come out. But it is very easy to change the nozzle on the AD5X, and the silicone sock goes right back over it, and then you can put your cover on. Centauri Carbon 2 features a more traditional style nozzle. It's about an inch long, 25 or 26 millimeters. You do have to unscrew the old nozzle, screw in the new nozzle with a wrench. It's a pretty simple process. And then the silicone sock on this one just slides up. And then, of course, we can attach the tool head cover right back onto the front of the machine. Now, just to give you an idea of sound levels when the printer is getting ready to load filament. First off, the Centauri Carbon 2. Obviously, with this machine, we can close the door to minimize some of the sound that's coming out. It's not super loud comparatively to any other 3D printer, but again, it should be noted, this one's got a door, so it's a little bit quieter. The motor noises on the AD5X are a little bit louder. There's a little bit more clicking than you'll find on the Centauri Carbon 2. But the fan noises, in all honesty, don't really change that much, aside from the fact that this is an open frame printer and you can't shut the door on it. Although I don't have the enclosure kit for the AD5X, I would assume you get pretty similar results if you enclose this machine. Now, the bed noise, the way that this bed moves up and down, moves around, it is much noisier than that of the Centauri Carbon 2. Just take a listen. So yeah, from day one, this machine, the bed has been a little bit louder than most 3D printers. It doesn't really affect the performance of the machine that I can see, but it should be noted. Elegoo Slicer has the option to synchronize your filament based off of what is loaded inside of the canvas system. And you have more of a clipper-based back end. It's not completely clipper because it's not unlocked, but it is much closer to that. And you can see the layout is just a little bit nicer. When we go into Orca Flashforge, there's no option here to resync our filaments, and of course it's not compatible with dark mode on Mac, at least not entirely, because this has not changed to dark mode, where it's still white. And it's just kind of basic. So we've got info and control here. Obviously we have no camera hooked up. Turn lights on and off, but there aren't any lights. We can see our file list, but that is about it. We can load and unload filament, but there's definitely an improvement here inside of Elegoo Slicer over something like Orca Flashforge. When we slice this print in Orca, we're going to give it the same settings that we gave Elegoo. And if we look at Elegoo Slicer, it's showing for this same print 75%. We've got the same, actually let's change this, adaptive cubic. Same settings, 0.4 millimeter nozzle. We're looking at 2 hours and 48 minutes with 66.37 total grams. The AD5X with default speeds, 4 hours and 28 minutes. So nearly 2 hours slower. However, from some of the things that I've seen before, this number might not be entirely accurate. So we'll see at the very end which one of these is more accurate. We will also see which one is closest to its original time. We can now hit print. Now you'll see here before we select a print job, we are selected with our AD5X and we can choose which filament we want to use. So we're going to color it this way. With the Centauri Carbon, when we hit print, we've got the option to either upload and switch to the printer page so we can start it manually from the printer, or we can upload and print choosing bed leveling, time lapse, and we can also choose which color we want to use in our canvas. So what I'm actually going to do now is just hit print and go back over here and hit send and let these both get on their way. Both have sent successfully, so we can go take a look and see which one starts first. So some of the differences I see here is the Centauri Carbon 2 shows remaining time. It shows what it's doing on the screen, whereas this currently right now does not show any remaining time. It shows how much time has elapsed. Both of these are doing the same thing though, heating up the bed to 60 degrees Celsius. This is not currently heating the nozzle, whereas this has already heated the nozzle, getting ready to load filament, and is also heating the bed at the same time. Both of these printers are going to go through bed leveling before they get started. I assume it'll be fairly similar, although currently the Centauri Carbon 2 is at 51 degrees, and it's already heated the nozzle once again, whereas the AD5X is sitting at 44 degrees and it still has to heat the nozzle before it can do anything. So the Centauri Carbon 2 might start sooner than the AD5X, but I suppose we'll find out when it happens. And actually, we've already got some movement going on with the CC2. So we are already heating the nozzle to 200 to start loading the filament, or bed leveling, as it says right there. And just about finished heating the bed. It's now heating the nozzle up to 210. Centauri Carbon 2 just finished its bed leveling. AD5X just started its bed leveling. It is now preheating the nozzle to 210, which is our printing temperature. It'll load the filament, and then it should be on its way. Centauri Carbon 2 off to the races. Currently preheating the nozzle on the AD5X, so it's slightly behind, but not too far. All right, this one's on its way. This is recording a time lapse right now, so we should be able to see what this ends up looking like during the entire print process. AD5X doesn't have a camera, so it's not going to record a time lapse. We will just take a look at this periodically and then see how it turns out at the end. All right, so a little bit behind the time that it said on the slicer, 3 hours and 15 minutes versus 2 hours and 47 minutes. So about a half an hour time difference there. Pulling this one off of the plate, obviously I should have printed this with supports due to the nature of how this is designed, and I believe it recommended supports. I just did not have them enabled. Overall though, aside from this obvious lack of care from me, the print came out great. The top part of the print, the ears, everything else, the sides, all the ribs look really good. And if I could get this thing to come into focus, we could actually take a look at it and see how it actually came out. So yeah, really good looking print off of the Centauri Carbon 2, even with some of the overhang issues. And unfortunately, the Flashforge, I can't say the same. 27% into the print, and it broke loose off of the build plate. I'm not really sure why, because again, it needed supports for those overhang areas, but it still had the same amount of contact on the bed in that main circle area that the Centauri Carbon 2 did. But for whatever reason, this one decided it didn't want to stick to the bed anymore. I did clean both of the beds prior to printing, but I'm not going to reprint this one in particular. I will print some more stuff though here in just a second, so we can take a look at some multicolor prints between these two printers, since that is probably the main reason you're going to be buying these. And again, like I said, I did wipe these down before printing with them. Anyway, let's move on to some more prints. And the next thing I decided to print is an Incredible Hulk in 3 different colors. We've got green, purple, and black. We've got our Centauri Carbon 2 coming in, looking really, really good. The only thing I am noticing, again, even with upping some of the flow ratios on the Centauri Carbon 2, we are still getting some of that under extrusion in the supports, not so much on the print, so it might be something I can fix later on. AD5X has a little bit of them too, so it might just be something to do with support settings. Anyway, 9 hours and 20 minutes on the Centauri Carbon 2, a little bit longer, in fact, quite a bit longer than the estimated time in Elegoo Slicer, which was around 7.5 hours. But the print came out looking phenomenal. We will have to take a look at it a little bit closer when we get the supports off. And 9 hours and 27 minutes over on the AD5X, which is much closer to the estimated time that we were given inside of Orca Flashforge. Before we go and take a look at the purge waste material from each of these machines, I wanted to take a quick look at both of our completed prints. On the right here, we have the AD5X, and on the left, we have the CC2. Now, one thing I'd like to point out right off the bat is these are both printed with the default print settings for a 0.2 millimeter layer height, and the supports were much cleaner or easier to remove off of the AD5X. You can see the bottom. We'll take a look at the AD5X first, kind of around the fist area. Now, obviously, I didn't get everything off, but the colors don't kind of bleed into this one. There is a much cleaner looking chin. The back looks much cleaner. If we take a look at the Centauri Carbon 2, again, default support settings. So these can obviously be changed and dialed in to get it a little bit more easier to remove. But we'll notice the support material sticks a lot better to our actual model. And coming in under the chin area here, the supports were pretty difficult to get off and left some marks there. Over on the backside, looks pretty good. But the biggest complaint that I have would be the underside of the fist here and then the underside of the chin. If I had spent a little more time, could I have gotten some of this off? I could have, but we still would have ended up with something that looked like this, where we've got that white there from where we're marring up the actual print. So overall, they both turned out basically the exact same. There is a little bit more under extrusion on the top layer of the Centauri Carbon 2, something that again can be dialed in. The one from the AD5X though does look a little bit cleaner. Let's move on to some of the waste material that was caused by each of these printers. All right, so the amount of purged filament, including these supports and the prime tower. I'm going to zero this scale out first using one of these boxes because that is what I put the filament in. So we'll zero it out there so we've got an accurate weight. All right, so you can see here, I've changed it over to grams. We've got the Centauri Carbon 2 prime tower and supports along with all of the flushed filament in there. And we're looking at about 168 grams over here with the Centauri Carbon 2. And taking a look inside of the box for the AD5X. Again, our prime tower is in here along with all of the support material that we ended up breaking off. And we're looking at about 165 grams. So for the Centauri Carbon 2, I printed this model out here. It goes into the back of the machine. This part slides into the poop chute area. And just for reference, the flushed material from that Hulk print filled this thing up right to the top. So about 168 grams fills this thing right up to the top, or 150 grams, I guess, without the prime tower. I'll link this down in the description below if you want to print one out for yourself, so you have something to catch that flush material. And over on the AD5X, I just used an empty box here to catch the purge material, because the power cord kind of gets in the way of putting something like this directly behind it. I'm sure there's models out there for this one, but just right off the bat there, I needed something to catch the purge material, so I just chose an empty box that I had laying around, and it worked pretty good. So that is a little side-by-side comparison between the Elegoo Centauri Carbon 2 and the Flashforge AD5X. If you have any more questions about either of these machines, be sure to leave them down in the comments section below, and I'll do my best to answer them for you in an upcoming video. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on the next upload. And if you want to see more videos like it, I've got another one queued up for you over here. I will see you all in the next one, folks. Take care, and thanks for watching.